want to go into the playoffs. And the playoffs, and sometimes it does come down to this. Who's the healthiest at the time that we play? But Skip, when I'm going to a game, can you imagine the playoffs and you got Kansas City in and there's no Mahomes? You got Tampa in and there's no Tom Brady. Or you got Green Bay and there's no Aaron Rodgers. Skip, the NBA is more of a superstar-driven league than the NFL because most of these teams, Skip, they've been with these teams for years and years. A lot of people will follow their favorite player. If he goes to Miami like LeBron, they go with him. He goes back to Cleveland, they go with him. He go to L.A., they go with him. But teams, people that rooted for Julio, they're like, yeah, Julio. But they're not going to Julio with the jealousy. Now, Tom Brady is very unique. Tom is the guy, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, can pull people that was at their fan base. But for the most part, basketball, they travel with their player. And so, Skip, to see this many guys out, and I believe this was before Kawhi had gone down, that we had this many All-Stars that missed playoff games. The stat is this year All-Stars missed 19% of their games. That's a new record. Skip, nobody wants to see. Nobody, look, it's basketball. And I'm not going to put no asterisk on it because if somebody, whoever wins the championship and they're the healthiest at the time, hey, it was a war of attrition. You took better care of your body than somebody else. But, Skip, I do think it has something to do with it, the quick turnaround and the condensed schedule. Skip, this is what normally happens. The more physical a sport is, the more rest time that you need. There's a reason why football players can't play as many football games as they do baseball. There's a reason why basketball can't play as many games as baseball, because it's not as physical. The guys are complaining in football, Skip. They play a Sunday, Thursday game. And they say, well, what are we doing here? But, Skip, I do believe there is a correlation between a shortened season, a condensed schedule, playing at least three times a week, and it's finally catching up because these guys were starting to play major minutes because you were jockeying for position. And you saw the James Harden playing 40-plus minutes. KD was playing early in the season, Skip. They're playing like, damn, James Harden played 44 minutes. Remember that? They had a double overtime game, and I think Harden played something like 50 minutes, and KD was like 50-plus minutes. I believe there is a correlation between the shortened offseason, the condensed schedule, and some of the injuries that we're seeing. Now, I mean, obviously, the NBA, I'm sure they're going to probably study this and to see if there was a correlation. But, Skip, I think there's enough blame to go around. The owners wanted to try to recoup some of the money that they lost during the pandemic, and the players wanted to get their paychecks. So this was a joint agreement between the NBA and the NBA Players Association. So don't put this all on the owners, because players, you had a role in this. Everything that you guys do, you collectively bargain, and you have a great relationship with your owners, and you chose this. So it is what it is.
Okay. I'm sorry, but LeBron just lost me with this one. And to use your favorite phrase, I wish he had missed me with this one. Let's put this in perspective.
Okay.
Let's use your other favorite word, context.
Yes.
I'm going to remind everybody that all these players got a 5-month break. It's almost 5. It's 4 months and 20-day break between their final regular season game when COVID hit until they went to the bubble and commenced with 7 regular season games leading to the playoffs in the bubble.
Okay.
It was 4 months and 20 days off. It was beautiful, especially for the older players like LeBron, because they could go completely 1,000% fresh to the playoffs because they played fairly sparingly in the regular season run-up games. And then here we went.
Right.
Okay. Number 2, I did not hear LeBron complain at all last year in the bubble when he got to the finals and got to face the 5th seed Miami Heat without Goran Dragic, their leading playoff scorer, and Bam, their heart and soul player, their guts and glue player. Both lost for game 1, game 1 and one before game 1.
Okay.
Okay, well, it's just the breaks. That's the way it goes. It's the injury gods, and you played your game for a long time, and I covered it for a long time. It's inexplicably unpredictable. I don't know why people get hurt. You can try to scientifically prove it was this or not doing this or doing too much of that. Too much weightlifting, not enough weightlifting. Too much creatine, not enough creatine. You know, like, which is it? I don't know, because it just happens unpredictably. So then what did we see early this year? We come back, and it was the shortest offseason ever. I give you that. But LeBron didn't honor that. He didn't try to protect himself. we got to midseason, and you said he was on an MVP tear, and
Yeah.
a lot of people had him as the
Right.
MVP. He was leading this league in minutes played about midseason. Leading the league, and he was in his 18th season at age 36, but 18th season.
But
okay?
all that had to do with Skip. When he had AD, he was playing the fewest minutes he had ever played in his career. He was averaging about 32 and a half to 33 minutes.
And then
AD goes down.
Okay.
So now it's kind of like with Paul George. Kawhi goes down, Paul George has to play 42 minutes.
Okay, but LeBron was playing high minutes and finishing games against Sacramento or whoever it was. And I believe, and I don't have a problem with this, he wants to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And if you're going to do that, you better play high minutes in those blowout games and get some fourth quarter points, because it's a lot. You got a long way to go to catch him for the most points ever scored.
I think, Skip, there's really no blowouts because we thought the Sixers had a blowout.
That is true. Today's game is almost rigged with the pace of it and the three-point shooting
Yes.
and the range teams
Yes.
have that no lead is safe.
No.
I mean, you can be up 15 with 2 minutes left, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, you miss a couple of shots and they hit a couple of threes, and all of a sudden it's a 6-point ball game with a minute and a half to go.
Okay, I got it. But the point is LeBron trying to say if he had had a longer offseason, he could have bounced back more quickly from the Solomon Hill injury? And if we could see this, it's just an accident. I don't believe Solomon Hill had bad intentions. He doesn't have any track record for being a dirty player.
No.
And he accidentally, he's going for the ball, and he just sort of, he didn't even fall. He just sort of, he bumped against his planted leg. And it was enough to turn his ankle over, and he got the basic, classic high ankle sprain. Okay, so are you telling me if LeBron had had a longer offseason, he would have come back faster? I don't think so. It was what it was. And he is in his 18th season, and he is human. I've called him the most durable superstar ever, and I did think he would bounce back faster. But it took, what do we say, 7 weeks it took him to come back?
Let me ask you a question. What about all these hamstring and groin injuries?
Okay, all right. So let's look at the stars who have gone down. Let's start with Anthony Davis. Wouldn't you agree he's injury prone? He was an injury liability when you traded for him, right? Okay. Kawhi Leonard, has he not been injured? He's forever injured. He's always his whole tenure in San Antonio. If there's a litany, I don't have enough show left to read all the injuries Kawhi suffered in San Antonio, because they went from shoulders to elbows to hands to knees to groins to even foot injuries. Okay, so he is classically injury prone. Joel Embiid has been in and out. Well, what do you say about him? It's all about, are you available?
Well, if you know that to be true, why would you force them to play guys that are injury prone? Why do you put 3 games in a week then?
I don't know.
If you know that.
Okay, but if they're injury prone, even if you had a regular rest off season, they're probably going to be hurt at some point.
Yeah, but Skip, the body was, you need more, and if you're injury prone, you need more rest, Skip.
Okay, Kyrie has been injury prone.
Yes.
James Harden, even at Houston, he always had soft tissue, groins or hamstrings. He's forever plagued by groins and hamstrings. So am I surprised? Is that completely out of character? No, it's not. The only out of character one was your man LeBron, to me, because he had the one groin 2 years ago, but he's virtually been indestructible.
I mean, Skip, wear and tear, because when does basketball players just like burning it down the field like a football player, Skip?
Every once in a while.
you pulling, for them to tweak hamstrings and groin. Now, AD's situation might be a correlation of compensation for the knee, and he putting a little extra stress on the groin, so that might have something to do with it. Skip, but I believe there is a correlation between a guy not getting enough rest, condensing the season, and then playing 3-4 games in 7-8 days.
Okay.
That's asking an awful lot of a guy.
Mike Conley, still on the shelf. Utah. Will he come back from a hamstring? 2017, he tore his Achilles. He's getting up there. This is his 14th season, so clock's starting to tick on a point guard who's high movement. He's a smallish man. He's taking a lot of pounding. I don't know. Am I surprised he's got a bad hamstring? I'm not surprised. The whole list, I look down at, the only young player on this list where I say, well, that's freakish, is Jaylen Brown. And he tore a ligament in his wrist.
That had nothing to do with them.
Okay, well, that's just that's just like bad luck, right? It's like a freakish accident of an injury.
You know what? Then again, Skip, it may be just the names. Maybe we've had injuries
well, it's
before.
Horrible. It's horrible for us, for the fans, for our show. I got it. But I can't attribute it directly to short off season.
But let me tell you what happened, what the NFL did. When Tom Brady hurt his knee, they say, you know what, quarterbacks are the face of the league.
Oh, well, that's a fact.
So what they do, Skip?
Well, we remember that was game number 1,
Yes.
so we had to go a whole year with no Tom Brady.
Yes. They're like, no, we're not finna do. We're not finna do.
Okay.
We're not going another season.
Okay, well, I don't know how you legislate hell.